Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chuckie, joined as always by my fellow investigator, The Boy.
Hello.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Before we get into things, I should probably tell you to go to the description, click a whole bunch of links down there. You can follow us on Twitter. You can buy some Super Blizzard Shining Wasato tunes from his Bandcamp. You can't do it through the links, but if you load up your Steam account, you can buy Joy Lancer, and that'd make him super happy too. He gave us our theme music, Let's Get Hardcore, and we do. All day, every day. You can also buy up my books. I'd appreciate that. And I think your brain would too, because they're pretty decent stories.
They really are. They're very good. So, this week was supposed to be the Survivor Series pay-per-view. That didn't happen. We decided to go to the zoo instead. Moving on. We decided to ultimately talk about pretty much the only thing that we've done that wasn't Fallout for me. Or wasn't things that Spork is planning on doing solo videos about, or other things.
No, I really spend most of my time staring up into space, honestly.
So
watching Game Grumps.
we did other thing.
Dude, Danny said some funny shit this week.
Mike, stop talking about more entertaining YouTube videos in our YouTube video.
Can you imagine? I bet it fucking exists, dude. I bet it fucking exists. I bet there's a podcast that talks about what happened on Game Grumps this week.
I'm looking for that. As soon as this shit is over, I am looking for that podcast.
Oh my god.
So we decided to do pretty much the only thing that is at all relevant to anything anyone would ever give a shit about that we did.
That isn't Overwatch, because we don't...
I don't into that.
Well,
sorry.
And Blizzard did not give me a beta, so here I sit.
Yeah, they did not give me a beta key, so I'm not playing Overwatch. So we watched the first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones, it's just called Jessica Jones. It's good. Just to get that right out of the way, the spoiler-free section of the review, it's very good, but very serious.
It's pretty dark. Like, Daredevil was dark, but this is extra dark.
I would say, this is definitely darker than Daredevil. This is probably the darkest Marvel thing so far of the new wave.
I believe I said this earlier tonight when we were watching episode 2, but it's hard to watch at points. And I don't mean that, like, I'm not a squeamish guy or anything like that. It's just, like, that show brings me down, man.
But that's not to say it's not good. It's very well made, it's incredible. And the drama is very believable and very human, and it's just, like, hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, because it's like, oh no, these people are awful or going through awful situations.
Do you know what this is? This is a version of, like, all that shit people watch that I end up hating or not being able to stand the characters for the same reason you can't stand. It's just a series of assholes being assholes to each other in most of these, like Mad Men or Breaking Bad or what have you. I'm not a huge fan of those shows because those are just unlikable people being unlikable at each other. This show has a bunch of likable people in a really fucked situation, so it's the same sort of this is drama and hard to watch and all that. The same vibe with characters I actually care about at all for any reason.
I would agree with that. I mean, I'm not I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I really give a crap about Power Girl or Power Woman or whatever the fuck her name was back in the day, but her actress is okay. I like her a hell of a lot better in a dramatic role than I do comedic. Yes,
same. She's much better in a dramatic role. Let me see. The name is... Scroll. Kristen Ritter. Kristen Ritter is a really good dramatic actress. If it tells you anything, I'm not actually even super familiar with her comedic roles, so they didn't stick in my head.
Yeah, I believe she was previously on something about the bee in Apartment 23.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Don't trust the bee.
Sure, whatever.
Because mainstream TV can't say the word bitch, I guess.
It's too bad, it's a scary word.
Like, I would get that if it was don't trust the fucking cunt in Apartment 23, but it's not.
Don't trust the awful bitch. The awful, horrible cunt in Apartment 23.
Listen, let me tell you about this slut bag.
By the way, I was like, she's used a bunch of names. Power Woman, Jewel, and Nitress were the various
Nitress?
Yeah, she wasn't good at superhero names.
No, clearly. Power Woman is not great either.
Well, I mean, she's married to Power Man, so...
Right. Speaking of Power Man...
So, we've only seen 2 episodes. We don't have that many spoilers. You get 2 seconds of silence. Good enough! Power Man's in this show.
Like, shows up episode 1. Like, I'm not even sure what There's like one thing we could talk about that's really spoilers. That's the boy's demise.
Yeah, I mean, like, this cough is just nagging. It will not go away. I'm otherwise still fine, though.
Though I'm sure being out in the cold looking at the animals today was, like, not the best thing for it.
Whatever, I got to see bear, and I got to see a happy wombat who scratched his back. It was great.
And then we got to go home and fucking watch horrible mind control rape drama.
Jesus! But Kilgrave is fucking, like, dude, he's harsh in the comics, and they did not pull punches. He's terrible.
If I could, we kind of talked about why we shouldn't like the show. I would like to talk about why I do like the show, and that's definitely the heavy noir feel to it. And I'm not talking about, like, there's a sleazy saxophone and there's a voiceover from Jessica Jones. It's like, the dude wore red as he strolled into my office. No.
There is straight up a voiceover from Jessica Jones, though.
A couple of parts, yeah, but not, like, out-of-place weirdness. I mean, there was a fucking voiceover in The Flash.
Yeah, it's mostly, like, the beginning of the first episode, a couple bits in the second episode, but, like, less. Like, the voiceover's almost gone by the second episode. It's just to really introduce you.
But it's, like, the way dialogue is delivered, the way scenes are shot, the fact that they show you the shitty side of New York constantly.
Pretty much only, really.
How everybody has an agenda and everybody's ruthless, and it is very noir. And I like that. I like that even though she's got super strength, she always feels like she's up against impossible odds, which is also a very noir thing.
Because she's not... And it works because she has super strength and, I believe, like, super durability and, she's a mega badass and whatever, but she's up against a threat that is operating on an entirely different wavelength. That's what makes Kilgrave such a good villain for someone like her.
Sure. Well, and also what she's actively doing through most of the first two episodes is solving crimes, which is entirely a mental process. And, your super strength doesn't help you think gooder.
I mean, it does help you when you need to, like, tear the lock off something.
Sure. Yes.
Or, like, it helps you breaking and entering really gooder. And some other stuff, but she's a good detective. And she's a good scam artist, which is an important part of private detective work, I assume. But
it's not to say the show isn't funny either. It has its funny moments, but they're very tongue-in-cheek or, like, ironically funny.
There's a little gallows humor involved sometimes.
Yeah.
But honestly, a big part of the reason I like the show is Kristen Ritter. She is, like, it's not a one-woman show, but it's like a one-woman with some other side character show.
And she's carrying it. She's being a very good protagonist.
And she is doing really well. Because I would say that even Daredevil, which is another show I love, and I would say, honestly, I probably like Daredevil a little more.
I can watch Daredevil easier.
But Daredevil is much more of an ensemble fare. Like,
I mean, I'd say it's more of a dichotomy. Like, you've got your Daredevil, and he does the scary, spooky things, and he fights in the nighttime, and he's, investigating and spying and getting out of bad situations. And then you flash over to fucking
Foggy's Fail Brigade.
And how funny that is. And it's your refresher between the drama. It plays out a lot like your average crime drama show in terms of tone and flow. Whereas this isn't even Special Victims Unit, man. This is just some dark, upsetting bullshit.
And they really, they go really far. They make special effort to try and really put you in Jessica Jones's headspace. Really make you understand just how much her previous experiences have fucked her up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great special effects that, are not, I don't mean that in, she has a lightsaber kind of special effects or eye lasers or anything ridiculous like that, but, there's flashes of thoughts that she's having, flashbacks, and the way it's edited in is really fantastic for portraying that sort of, that fucking PTSD sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you as the viewer have to wonder, does she have a problem, or is he fucking with her?
Or is Kilgrave literally just fucking with her?
Yeah, so it's, it really draws you in and makes you want to continue to watch. And having such a sinister villain like that, it's somebody you want to see lose. no matter how charismatic his David Tennant speeches might be in the end, he's a fucking monster.
And David Tennant is like on his game. The few times we've heard him talk, because they're very like, they don't show him. They show him in shadow and profile. They don't really fully show him as a person like ever in the show. At least not in the first 2 episodes. And when he does talk, his shit's on point. He's doing David Tennant like acting, but he's being so irredeemably awful while he does it.
Like fucking Kingpin, you felt for him. Like, that guy had a bad lot in life, and he chose to make some wrong choices on purpose because he was mad. Whereas fucking Kilgrave is just a fucking monster. He's the kind of guy you don't want to get away in the end. You know?
Because, the Kingpin gets away. Yeah, he's a bad guy, don't get me wrong. But he's got some flair, and he's understandable, a human character who, like, you empathize with. They make you empathize with him. This is actually a really great point of the differences in how they sell the 2 villains. Because in the first couple episodes of Daredevil, the first couple episodes he's not really there, but after he gets introduced, they make you empathize with him. They show his more human side. They show him as a person. They show him as like this mildly bumbling guy who's not really very good with women. And, they show him awkward and all that before they show him in control and as the Kingpin.
Yeah.
It really hammers home right in the beginning that he's not a good guy, but he is a person. And so his stuff becomes much more understandable. And if you watch the show, unless you're one of those people who always roots for the bad guy, you end up naturally rooting for Daredevil. You want the Kingpin taken down because it needs to happen. He's obviously a fucking psycho. But there's also that part that understands where he's coming from. In contrast, in the first bit of Jessica Jones, they do everything in their power to make you understand that this guy, this person who scares the fucking bejesus out of this superhero with like super strength and super durability and all that, this person who scares the living shit out of them does so because they're a fucking monster of horrifying proportions.
Yeah. And I really dig that. I mean, you can't do that all the time, obviously, because then it becomes old hat, and you're like, okay, yeah, he's badass, whatever, shut the fuck up. But the fact that they're starting the show in contrast to things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil and probably the other show.
Yeah, probably. We don't really watch Agent Carter.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But
I'm not super interested.
In contrast to the way those shows build up, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very positive and heroic. Daredevil is...
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s 4 colors, fuck.
Oh, yeah. Daredevil is, it's darker, but it's like 90s grit. I mean, like, you kind of feel for everybody, and nobody's a good guy, but some are trying harder than others. This show is fucking black and white, but black is fucking black. Black is drawing in color from other places, and white is suffocating in it. And, like, it hits hard. And I love that. And I love the way they're portraying it. Like, the only criticisms I have of this program so far, as a whole, are some of the editing cuts used. And some of the, like, interstitials between locations. And, like, if that's your complaint about a TV show, go fuck yourself. Keep watching the show, asshole.
I like that you basically just told yourself to go fuck yourself.
Well, I mean, if I was like, I don't like the editing, I'm done with this show. No.
I would tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and you should. You would be perfectly justified in doing so. Because the rest of this is quality acting, quality, complex characters, fucked up noir situations where you're just like, man, how's old Jessica Jones gonna get out of this one? Little tiny moments of redemption. Points of light has been the popular phrase recently, and I think this really showcases that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the big thing I like about the show, and we mentioned this a few moments ago, but it's fucking Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is in this. Luke Cage is in this, and he's not just in it, he's really fucking cool.
I fucking love Luke Cage, guys. He's like top 20 favorite heroes, I think.
Mike Colter is great.
He's fantastic.
He brings all the very, like, not swaggery, but supremely confident and stoic nature that modern day Luke Cage has to the screen in such a pure way that, like, it's actually a joy to watch just as a comics fan.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good, honest, solid interpretation of the character. It's not that he's not bringing anything new to it. It's just that the stuff he's bringing that is new to it is so in keeping with the character that it fits perfectly well.
I would liken it to the performance of Yellow Jacket in the Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
Like, the character's not doing anything this character isn't, expected to do. This is the character. This is what you expect to see. But he's doing it so fucking good.
It's craft. He's taking a material and elevating it. And it is wondrous to see. And he's only had 2 episodes and he's already tied for, like, my favorite character in the show. To be fair, that's more really a boon, like, saying good things about Jessica Jones, about, her actress, because I don't really give much of a fuck about her in comics. I like Luke Cage. Well, Luke Cage already had he's Luke Cage, goddammit, momentum working for him.
This is something that I've often said of Marvel in general, and I will tread a little carefully, but it's harder for Marvel than DC to make properties with a female lead. Because DC has got a lot of really fucking strong, awesome female characters. I could name a whole bunch of them off right now, but I don't want to. You all thought of Wonder Woman, and that's good enough. Marvel, that's it.
Here's the thing. They do.
But they're part of, like, ensemble casts.
They're part of ensemble casts. They're either part of an ensemble cast, almost always, and even when they are, the majority of them are on properties Marvel doesn't own.
Sure, yeah, that too.
Because a lot of the really strong female leads are like X-Men. They're mutants.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not a thing that they get to have because Fox is greedy. Sony came to the table. Don't you fucking tell me.
I've heard Fox is in talks with them. But,
good.
Digressing from that, like, I had to ask myself when the question was brought up to me, and it has been brought up to me by several people, who the hell would I want to see, in a Marvel? It's not fucking Scarlet Widow. I've come to terms with her character as of Age of Ultron, being like an alternate interpretation, but I still don't care for her overall.
Like, oh yeah, it's an alternate interpretation. I don't like it, but it's valid.
It's fine. It fits in this story you're telling. I don't care for it, but I see it, and I don't hate it. Carol Danvers, I can't really be too fussed about. I never have been. She's not. I don't find a lot of power and drama in her story.
There's potential there, but you'd have to strip basically like 3/4 of her actual comics backstory off because it's so damn convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, like they keep trying to make a Carol Danvers movie, but they're like, And I think this choice specifically, not only was it bold,
She-Hulk,
yeah, you could do She-Hulk.
You could do a She-Hulk movie. I was looking up a list of, like, actually, you mentioned it, and I was
and I've done this before, and She-Hulk was definitely one of the
They have Captain
people.
Marvel. They have the new Miss Marvel. I think that would make a really good movie. Her powers are cool. She's a shapeshifter.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
There's the Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Storm, but again, Storm's an X-Men. And this is from Marvel's Women of Marvel. Okay, this is there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 motherfuckers. 1, 2-ish. They don't own, and I don't know who the fuck Medusa is. Actually, that name does not ring a bell. Who is this?
That doesn't ring a bell with me either. It may be like I've seen it in some errata somewhere, but and I noticed that fucking Jessica Jones isn't on that list.
Oh, she's a Fantastic Four. Oh, okay. I have not fucking heard of her in years.
She's probably also off the table because of...
She's from Fantastic Four number 36 in 1960s.
Whoever owns the titles to that.
She's definitely part of the Fantastic Four. Technically, she's an Inhuman.
Okay. But like I just said, I mean, Jessica Jones wasn't on there.
Nope.
And so they've taken... I would say a C-list superhero, and somebody who isn't even really known by any of her superhero names that strongly, And they're like, nah, fuck it, we'll make a show about her. And it's so fucking good. And she's so fucking good. They have taken the raw pieces of this character and gone, no, we can work with this. And it's a fucking powerhouse program.
Mm-hmm, definitely. They really can't do any wrong. I have not disliked a Marvel movie.
There's my hang-ups with the first Avengers movie, but...
Like, I have yet to see them fuck up.
And Iron Man 2.
I liked Iron Man 2. I'm like the only guy in the universe, I know that. I don't care.
I like half of Iron Man 2, but it didn't happen all at once, so...
I actually like Iron Man 2 pretty much beginning to end. I like that movie. I'm not the only guy in the universe.
I'm glad for you, man.
But, they're so good at making stories because of the difference in how they view comics. DC can make, they have a bunch more, like, very, very well-known female properties. They have a bunch more very well-known properties, sure, honestly.
Definitely.
Because, in the cultural lexicon, DC heroes are no better. They star. And that's partially because,
they're more iconic.
They were known better pre the Marvel movies starting.
Sure.
I don't know. That's probably not the case anymore. But they're iconic and they're legends. They're over the top. They're icons for people to aspire to. Marvel can make a good story out of basically any one of their characters because that's their central theme. They make people.
Right.
They make human stories and then give those people superpowers and watch what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think they've chosen a good character to go with here. I like that they're not focusing on her powers so far. But if they come to it later, fine. You've built your house. You can do what you want in it now. You know?
Yeah.
I really dig this. I cannot fucking binge watch this. It is too hard to watch.
Whereas because we started watching it as a group, that's the only thing keeping me from literally binge watching it, like tonight before I go to sleep. This is my jam. This seems like a great show.
It's good. It's just really heavy, man, and I can't bring myself down like that.
Whereas the show necessarily doesn't bring me down. Like, it's a dark show, but I trust Marvel Studios. I trust their television division to, if they don't give me a happy ending, give me a satisfying one for this season. Because that's the problem with those other shows of that type. They don't ever do that.
Yeah, well, like, okay, and look at it that way. Like, here very recently, I've been hurt a lot, man. I've been fucking Game of Thrones, okay? And don't you fuckers, if you haven't watched a Game of Thrones podcast, I'm not talking about Jon fucking Snow. Fuck Jon Snow. I still thought that was stupid, but fuck Jon Snow. I've been hurt by, fucking Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Fucking Tyrese, he's over there somewhere. And in my heart. There was fucking something else we were watching, and I was like, I'm done with this shit.
The drama just never stops. It just escalates and escalates and escalates, and nothing ever ends. There's no resolution. It's
like tantric masturbation, or sex, if you prefer, but there's a partner there, so that's different. I think masturbation is probably better, where in the end you don't come.
Yeah, I trust Marvel Studios not to leave me hanging
to give you the O.
They're skilled. They've proven their skill in this area in several occasions.
You think, like, just at the end, Howard the Duck's gonna show up and it's gonna be fucking sweet?
Dude, if fucking Howard the Duck shows up at the end of it, you have any fucking idea how much I will just, like, march out of the room, march all the way to Marvel Studios, find Kevin Feige, and just hand him my wallet if fucking Howard the Duck shows the fuck up?
It'll be like that scene in Scary Movie when that dude finally has sex for me. Just... And after I'll be like, oh, Howard.
Have we ever told the Howard the Duck story on the podcast?
We have.
Good. They deserve to know.
If you want to go check out our fucking
Guardians of the
Galaxy, yeah, thank you. That podcast, which is mostly just us gushing about how great Guardians of the Galaxy is. There is a fun Howard the Duck story in there. Yeah, I like this. And, like, it's getting me psyched for the Defenders.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. This is a great way to introduce Luke Cage. It really helps set up... Because I think Luke is getting his own show, right?
I'm not sure. I've heard, but I don't know.
I hope so. Because what I want is, now that he's set up in this show as, like, a B character, then on his show, you could bring Jessica Jones in as like a B character, and you can work it as like these two separate but similar narratives that work together to act as the two cornerstones around which the Defender's house is built.
I'm a little worried they're going to do a prequel for Power Man. To
see how, like, Luke Cage got where he is?
Yeah, like, the whole prison time and the experiments and all that shit. Which, I mean, I'm sure it'd be okay. It's just not my bag.
I like Luke Cage, Luke Cage.
I want to see him on the street fighting for good. I want to see this Luke Cage, because I'm familiar with the 70s Luke Cage, but Luke Cage in any era is a product of his time, a product of his upbringing, a product of the world around him. So this guy...
They actually do a decent job of modernizing him.
As opposed to being very militant and loud and upset, this Luke Cage is very calm, controlled, refined, but he's still that good guy fighter, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, I like that, and I want to see more of that, but I want to see him on the front line.
He has a fight scene in the second episode that is beautiful.
Oh my god, I laughed my ass off during the whole fucking thing. It was absolutely amazing. I fucking love Luke Cage, and I'm so psyched. I hope he says Sweet Christmas at some point.
Dude, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna straight up Ninja Turtles movie Cowabunga that shit, okay?
That would be the best. Or fucking Tonight I Died on Turtle Soup. That fucking Ninja Turtles movie, I can't wait for the sequel.
They're gonna have him say it once, and then just gonna look at him and go, "What the fuck did you just say?" And then he's gonna explain, "I promised my grandma I wouldn't swear."
He hasn't sworn yet. He said hell, but that doesn't count.
No, he has not sworn, and that's important. That's important because Luke Cage don't swear. He swore his grandma.
Yeah,
he told his grandma he wouldn't, so he don't.
Fucking love Luke Cage, man. What a good fucking... He's like Marvel's Mr. T, man.
You know what? You know what would be better? If they didn't actually mention it. Like, if something really fucked happened, something really fucked up, and, like, they're both standing there, and he just goes, "Sweet Christmas." And she just gives him a look like, the fuck?
Or not even at all. Or if she's just like, okay, that seems like a thing he would have said. This character has been built up well enough in my eyes.
There's got to be a look. You can't not acknowledge Sweet Christmas.
Oh man, Luke Cage, man, Jessica Jones, fucking Purple Man,
dude. I don't think he's purple.
I think they made that clear early on.
But
all of the lighting in his scenes,
whenever he shows up, they purpleize the scene.
Like, there's a point where Jessica Jones walks into a boiler room and it's sort of a bluish purple, or rather a purplish blue, and she stops and she's like, do not want.
I don't need to be in here. I don't need to be in here. But it's. I don't look. I'm a nerd. I'm a humongous nerd. If he's not purple, I'm a little mad. If he's not purple, I'm a little mad.
Yeah, but the whole...
Only a little, but a little.
And if Luke Cage swears, I'm a little mad. It's about the same amount of mad, I think.
Yeah, I'd be much more mad about Luke Cage swearing.
Yeah.
That's an essential part of that fucking character. Purple Man being purple isn't really...
Well, and it's not like they're running around calling him Perp Man or anything, so...
Just because they avoid code names like the plague here.
Yeah.
It's just like Kilgrave, Jessica, Luke.
Or Lou. It's been either. Yeah. But... yeah, it's been a trip. I've enjoyed it. I don't know that we're going to come back and do final thoughts on it.
Unless it goes a crazy
unless
place.
It fucking blows us away or some shit. Unless we think we can fill another half an hour on it. That isn't just...
Don't tell them the secrets!
That isn't just retreading the ground we've already talked about, which is OMG Noir, OMG Heavy, OMG Luke Cage, OMG Kristen Ritter.
I thought we were very balanced.
Oh no, yeah, and there's criticisms to level the show, but it's good overall. I definitely recommend you fire up your Netflix if you're not already subscribed. And
the pilot's incredibly good. It'll sell you if it's a show you're interested in. If you're not interested in the pilot, from what I've seen, don't bother.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's about everything that we had to say on the subject. The Survivor Series podcast, hopefully, if I can bring myself to watch that show, will be happening. It'll be at your doorstep, internet doorstep, Soonish.
When I feel like it.
Yeah, because he's the one who edits the podcast and puts it together and stuff.
And come to think of it, I have some things I'd like to say about Survivor Series. In fact, I'm very upset about a lot of the...
Well, you see, that's important, and I'm going to let you finish, but everything's better when nerds talk about it.
You bastard!
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!